All right, welcome in. I'm the Kodiak, and today I'm here to talk about the Cincinnati Bengals 2024 year. And is it panic time for the Cincinnati Bengals? And before I get into it, I just want to say leave a like if you enjoy, subscribe if you're not already. I'm going to be making NFL content all offseason long. And let's get right into it. So, is it time to panic for the Bengals? I was going to wait until the end of the video to state my verdict, but here's my position on this topic. I don't think it's time to panic for the Cincinnati Bengals, but next year is definitely Super Bowl or bust. And here's why I don't think it's time to panic. Joe Burrow said it himself. The window will always be open as long as he is playing quarterback for the Cincinnati Bengals. As long as he is who he is, and as long as he's going out there on the field and being able to do what he does best, yes, then this team will always have a shot. And the AFC is pretty loaded. That's one of the unfortunate realities of being a team in the AFC that's trying to compete right now. It is loaded with good quarterbacks. There's probably 6 or 7 that I would not be surprised on any given year if they happen to drag their team to the Super Bowl, and probably a few more that I could see definitely taking that leap this upcoming year. But when I think about the Cincinnati Bengals and how they got to back-to-back AFC championships in 2021 and 2022. So 2021, that run kind of came out of nowhere. When I was thinking in the summer 2021, I was like, okay, yeah, the Bengals will be good in a few years, but a few years turned into immediately as soon as they drafted Jamar Chase and as soon as that offense really got going. 2022, their team was firing on all cylinders on both sides of the ball. They were top 7 in DVOA. I think they were 4th in offensive DVOA and 7th in defensive DVOA. So it was a very complete team, but the team just fell apart and the offensive line just couldn't stay healthy heading into that AFC Championship in 2022, and then they ended up losing. But yeah, the 2023 year was pretty much done the minute Joe Burrow not only got hurt, but when he was clearly playing through his calf injury. And as he got healthier, the team got better, but he was injured again during one of the most pivotal games of the year against their hated Baltimore Ravens. And with Burrow set to miss the rest of the year, it came down to Jake Browning, and Cincinnati found one heck of a backup in Jake Browning. And he'll probably back up Burrow for, the rest of Burrow's career because they're about the same age, I think. And that'd be cool to see. But they failed pretty much every other test. The defense regressed, and they still have issues on the offensive line. But this team has proved that it uses free agency to plug immediate holes, and it very rarely uses its early picks on players that will start right away, which is why I don't really know where they're going to go in the draft. I don't know if they're going to go right tackle. I don't know if they're going to go corner. I don't know if they're going to go Bowers if he slips that far. Yes, I know they need a tight end, but Bowers slipping to 18 would be pretty hard to pass up. But regardless, Myles Murphy last year, he's a prime example of a player that they liked at edge that they didn't have an immediate need for. So instead, they picked him to develop, and he'll be a starter once one of Hendrickson or Hubbard is gone. But every position besides quarterback will be on the board for the Cincinnati Bengals this upcoming year. If they believe that this is a wide receiver class they want to invest in, especially because they are likely trading T. Higgins, they should absolutely do so. And real quick, before I talk about why it is panic time for the Bengals or not, their division is not getting any weaker. Yes, I know that the Steelers are adding Russell Wilson and Justin Fields, and that doesn't really strike fear into anyone. But Mike Tomlin's going to find a way to get them to 9-8, regardless of the talent on the roster. And the Browns, once again, they had a loaded team this year. And yes, they their magic kind of fell off. The Flacco magic could have only taken them so far. The Baltimore Ravens were the best team in the AFC this past year in the regular season. So the bad thing about being a Bengals fan is that your division is treacherous. It's always classic, like run the ball, play good defense type football, but it's time to see if the Bengals can stand the test and get past the gauntlet that is the AFC North. They did get past the AFC North gauntlet in 2021 and 2022, but ultimately they need to prove that they can do it again. And Joe Burrow is, I think, going to kick in his contract extension in this upcoming year or next one. But being a $50 million quarterback is being able to produce without elite weapons at every position, because you're paid that much because you elevate your offense and you give your team flexibility to save elsewhere. If you have a $50 million quarterback who needs multiple $20 million wide receivers to produce a winning offense, you do not have a $50 million quarterback. So A quarterback that gets paid as much as Joe Burrow should be able to help lesser players replace the production of those that you lose to cap constraints. When I think about T. Higgins and why they should move on from him, think about the prime Patriots. They would have traded T. Higgins the day Brady signed his extension if they were both playing on the team, because if you're the Bengals and you're Joe Burrow right now and Joe Burrow can't elevate others, he's not worth $50 million. But one way to look at receivers is they are helpers. And yeah, they probably are going to keep Jamar Chase for the rest of his career. I don't think they're really in a position to pass that up. But again, if your quarterback can't elevate other guys around him, he's not worth $50 million. So higher paid quarterbacks should need less help. If you luck into a cap sheet that lets you have expensive toys, I mean, like Brady's Buccaneers when Godwin and Evans were both on team friendly deals, that's great. But it's rare, and it often requires circumstantial luck. So that's what's so impressive about Mahomes and what he did the past 2 years is he's outperformed his contract with absolute scrubs at wide receiver. And yes, he had less help than ever and still produced an offense that won 2 Super Bowls. The Chiefs definitely did not win the Super Bowl this year because of their offense. Their offense absolutely was lackluster at points this year. But the greatest players win both on the field and on the cap sheet, and that's what everyone else is competing against. So the Bengals have to rely on Joe Burrow to do that too, and now they have to let him prove it because Joe Burrow is one of the best quarterbacks in the league, but can he win? That is always going to be the next question. Josh Allen, a lot of critics for him right now because yes, he is absolutely amazing, but he's not winning. He hasn't been able to get past the Chiefs I think he's had 3 years of exiting against them in the playoffs. So I don't know. You can't be scared to lose a number 2 receiver who would torture your team's salary cap. You do it and you tell your quarterback it's now time to earn your $50 million. So there's also a stat that no quarterback or coach combo has won their first Super Bowl after their 5th year together. And depending on how you want to treat the rookie season for Joe Burrow and his, knee, whatever, and his calf injuries, this is year 4 or 5. Super Bowl or bust needs to be a topic on the table for discussion. And so I think it is Super Bowl or bust for the Bengals. It is now time for this entire regime, this entire front office, this entire coaching staff, for Joe Burrow himself to show that they are ready to win again. Because if they can't, they're going to make changes. So yeah, that does it for me now. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.